So the Pittsburgh Penguins won again. Matt Murray was sensational, and now the Penguins take a 2-1 series lead with a chance to get a stranglehold on the series tonight. Back in New York, they can go up 3-1. Matt Murray is back in net, and I'm excited. So, back to last game. Murray only had 17 shots, but he was very solid. The only shot to beat him was a shorthanded breakaway by Rick Nash. He was a little deep in his net, but as he's been doing ever since he's been in the net, he shook it off, and he just played the rest of the game. He's like, the hater's gonna hate, but I'm just gonna play, and I'm just gonna shake it off. And he shook off that goal, and he was great for the rest of the game. Meanwhile, the Penguins' defense was stifling. They only allowed 4 shots on net the whole third period, the entire time that the Rangers had the empty net, and it was a 6-on-5. I don't think they got any shots through. That was a clinical performance by the Penguins in the last 2 minutes. Absolutely clinical. I was calling for Ole Matta to be scratched after game 2 because I thought he was abysmal. Oh boy, did he redeem himself. He was absolutely ridiculous. That game, probably the best defenseman after Letang, who also had a great game and redeemed himself. But the last 2 minutes, there was a play, I think a minute and a half left, when a player's on Matta, he's in the corner behind the boards, another player's on him, he avoids them both and manages to get the puck out to his player, and they go for a chance in the empty net. Absolutely fantastic performance. The Penguins kept pressing. They didn't get back on their heels, as teams are apt to do when they're up. They didn't allow score effects come into play. They just kept pressing. They kept forcing. They played a stifling defensive game while at the same time continuing to produce offense and get shots in net, and didn't rely on Matt Murray. That's how you play. That's how you win. It was a perfect effort from Mike Sullivan and the Penguins. Very well coached, and I think my theory has some truth. I think the Penguins played a lot better in front of Matt Murray. They looked more comfortable. It was a team I've been waiting to see. They had more confidence. They had more jump. The defensemen are willing to jump up in the rush more. They did let the Rangers get a few odd-man breaks, which I'd like to watch for next game, especially on the power play, because they go with 4 forwards. But overall, much better performance. It was pretty stifling in the neutral zone. And they know the Rangers have some fast players. They still have to watch those odd-man breaks because that is how both goals happened. The one was called offside. They should watch that for this game because they're not going to get those breaks every game. And the Rangers do have speed the Penguins can counter with. So it was a brilliant effort. The only problem I have is that Malkin clearly still isn't healthy. He only played 13 minutes and 50 seconds that game. He barely played in the third period at all, which is good that the Penguins do not need him. But at the same time, we have 3 really strong centers, 4 really strong centers, a really deep center depth, and when Malkin is not being used, it forces more tension on Crosby. More players can gang up on Crosby and then slow down his offense. So I know it's playoffs and everyone plays injured, and Malkin's got a lot of pride. He especially hates being injured, and he tends to rush himself back too early. But he did look better in this game. He had more jump. I still don't think he's 100%. Because he did get an assist, but he was responsible for the first goal. He did take a bad penalty after being out on the ice too long. So, I mean, I guess it'll take it a while to get his game back. But the fact that he's not taking any faceoffs or as many faceoffs leads me to believe he's still not fully healthy. And him only playing 13 minutes also leads me to believe that because every other forward played at least 16 or 17 minutes, every other top forward. So that's something that the Rangers could exploit, which is a bit worrying, but we'll see how it pans out. And he's also playing with leftovers, as it were, Kunitz and Fair. Fair has done nothing this series. Kunitz has not been great. So, I mean, putting them with Malkin, they're not exactly the ones that are going to help jumpstart Malkin's offense. Now, you could argue that, you can put Malkin with anyone, and he's still going to be great. But even 100% Malkin is still a great Malkin, yes. But I guess you want to maximize his skill, and, those players haven't really earned playing the right to be playing with Malkin, where someone like Connor Shearer, Hagelin, or Kessel has. But the Hagelin-Kessel-Bonino line's been really good, so why would you break them up? Actually, in this series, they don't have anything on even strength. all their goals have been special teams or power play. Hagelin doesn't have any goals himself. While he's been fast, he's not actually got any goals. So they haven't been as effective this series. So if I were Sullivan, I might look to change things up there. Malkin's had chemistry with Kessel and Hagelin in the past. He likes playing with them and plays speed game, and then he can drop Bonino down on that third line. But then you could argue that, well, Bonino might be getting more points with Kessel and Hagelin because he doesn't have as much raw offensive ability. So it's a good problem to have, that we actually have 4 really, really solid lines, but that's just something that I would change. Second thing is, again, bottom defensive pairing. When Letang and Mata, barely Mata, when Letang and Dumoulin, I'd say, are not on the ice, the puck cannot move from the back end. Daily as well, actually, sorry. I should say Daily. Daily more than Dumoulin. Lovejoy and Cole were absolutely buried in the defensive zone last game. I mean, still only 17 shots were given up, but they were basically forced to block a lot of shots because when they're on the ice, they can't move the puck and they can't get it out. This is the big problem that happened last year. Big reason why the Penguins lost in this series. However, now they have a healthy Chris Letang, who's not suspended, luckily. So I think they're in a better position. But the fact that you have, it goes back to what I said earlier about having all the ingredients in your kitchen and not using them. You're not going to make the best food. You're not going to make the best product. You have Justin Schultz and Derek Pouliot sitting there. Schultz was required for the very reason that your team plays on the basis of speed and skill, and that's your whole team game. And why you would put someone who plays PK and who is a, quote, defensive presence, players who cannot really move the puck in minutes over Pouliot and Schultz, I don't understand. It's mind-boggling. I've accepted that Pouliot's never going to play, which I think is a total waste. I don't understand what Sullivan's doing with him. No one has ever seemed to like him. I mean, Rutherford's brought him up, which was the right thing to do, but he can't go in and play the guy. You know, he's not the coach. But Schultz has played really well. He was a big part of why the Penguins were so successful, and Pouliot when he was in the lineup. He actually has really good puck possession numbers and everything. So why Lovejoy and Cole are there, I don't understand. Coaches have always had this weird affiliation with Ben Lovejoy. Every single coach has been in Pittsburgh. And then he was traded and then brought back for another defenseman who can move the puck, Simone Dupre. Can you imagine if the Penguins had Simone Dupre right now? How much better and lethal they would be, because their defense is an area of weakness. It is an area to exploit. And it would be a lot stronger if we had those young players in the back end. So I don't know what Sullivan's angle is, because it goes against his whole team policy, and it's very counterproductive, and they've not been good. Luckily, it is the bottom pairing, but them together is, it's scary. But when Ian Cole was played with Chris Letang, that pairing was horrendous. So, I mean, maybe put Lovejoy back with Dumoulin, because Dumoulin actually was the only player who seemed to really carry Lovejoy, and that was a really good pairing earlier in the year. If you really insist on playing him, maybe put him with Dumoulin, maybe put Daly with Cole, because then you have someone who can move the puck or can cover up for those players' mistakes, because when they're together, it's explosive, and it's not in a good way. It's not in a good way. So that's all I have for this game. Murray is starting again tonight. Please like if you like this video. Subscribe if you really like it. What do you think is going to happen? My original prediction was Penguins in 6. So, I mean, I'd have to say the Rangers will come back and tie it up tonight. However, my gut instinct tells me, based on the way the Penguins played last game, they'll come back and win it. And then they'll finish off at home, but never know. So, please like if you like this video. Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you really like it. Share with all your friends. Tell everyone. And I'll see you after game number 4. Will it be 2-2, or will the Penguins be up 3-1?